back. Part two. Oh, part two.
Part two.
Well, day two.
Day two, part two.
Day two, part two.
Of the Fender
and quarter. So we're trying to do both, have both done today. We're going to be fixing a little issue here.
Yeah, the Fender was pretty much done until we flipped it over and we saw this spot right here.
Looks good, is good. Well, like I said, we'll fix this little spot here. We pulled the turn signal reflector marker out. So other than that.
And then this spot right here, all the welds, the holes that you see here, this will be filled with body filler.
Yep.
But this is all welded together, so that's what we wanted.
So it looks
I mean,
good,
I know it looks
clean. No, it's fine. Yeah.
Ugly,
I know most people will know. Especially if they're looking at a car, they'll be like, oh, it looks pretty good. Yep. So even on the back side, you can see it penetrated really well. So super excited about how it came out. So all we need to do is come back, we'll spray that side, make it look clean, and then we'll cut this part off here. And I have some 14 gauge steel, or 16 gauge, sorry, 16 gauge steel. We'll cut and we'll match the size there as well. So Hiro's gonna be doing the cut. We already made the marks. So once he makes the cut, we're gonna make a like a paper template and put it on the piece of steel, and then cut that template out there as well. And then we'll pull off the rear bumper and then start cutting the rear panel off as well. So it'll be a lot of cutting, and then we'll get to the welding of the rear piece, which will be the patch panel that will be going down there, and it'll look like it's new. And then we'll go over it, and I don't know if we'll do the whole sanding thing again on this side, but we'll see how fast we can do everything.
Just so you know, guys, this car does run.
So as we get started here, Hiro's going to actually be starting off with the cutoff wheel and cutting out like a 2-inch in length section off of where the little rust hole was. So we'll cut that out just so I can actually get my piece in there. Now I did use like a piece of paper to measure the outline that he cut open, so then I can put it on my steel and make the mark, and then I can actually sit there and cut it out. So it was actually quick and simple. I am using the flanging tool so I can make a little lip so I can slide it under the original steel. Keep in mind on the sides I won't be able to do that, so it's going to be butt welded, so I need it to be as tight as possible, and that's why I made the measurement. Now I am going to be using crescent wrenches to actually make the bends. Other than that, it's actually pretty simple to do. The steel is pretty thick, so you do have to use a little bit of force, but other than that, once you start the bend, it actually is pretty simple to actually do. Now I did end up having to weld just because Hiro was a little afraid of that section here and he didn't want to warp the steel. So I decided to try to do it because he was worried that the patch is so small that when he's welding he might hold it in one spot too long. So what you're going to notice here is I'll kind of let it cool in one section, and then I'll re-weld another small section here, and then I'll let it cool again, and at some point I just put down the I'll just put down the tools and let it cool off again and go and help Hiro. Like I said, the idea is you don't want to warp the metal and you want to make sure you take your time, so you're literally doing 1.5 to 2 second burst and letting one side cool and move to the next. Now for the rear bumper is actually very simple to take off. There's pretty much 4 bolts that hold a total of 2 brackets onto the frame. Other than that, once they come out, it's actually very easy to actually move out. Now you do have to remove the actual light. You might also, in your El Camino, you might have extra bulbs in those 2 lower parts, so you might have to disconnect those as well, but mine was just over my license plate. Don't forget to click up at that link up above and see how we actually clean that bumper as well. So I have it up in the upper right hand corner. Now the next portion is me grinding the actual section that was pretty much all messed up here, so I'll clean off all the paint here as well. I'm not going to use a full grinder for the whole thing. I'm just using the grinder to grind down the welds where I welded, and just as long as your welds are small, you don't have a lot of material and it'll be nice and quick. Now, since I got that done, I'm pretty much moving over to help Hiro make the cuts because he was a little nervous on where to cut because there's so many layers of steel here, and he wanted to make sure that he didn't cut all the way through to the wheel well. So you do have to make sure you take your time and make your cuts. So just like I said, you have your wheel well there, so I'm cutting about 2 inches away from the start of the wheel well, just so I don't hit the inside wheel well portion. Now on the front fender here, I am just cleaning it up some more with my little grinding disc here. It's like a little 2-inch grinder, and pretty much I'm just coming and taking off all the paint and getting it ready. Other than that, I'm not going to probably paint it today, so I'll probably put it in the garage and let it dry. Now just keep in mind with the bare metal that you do not touch the bare metal with your hands. If you do, you will have to re-wipe the whole that whole section down, just so your oils from that hand don't start to rust that piece there. So just like I said, take your time. You can use an angle grinder as well, and I'm just using a straight grinder, but the angle grinders probably might allow you more control. Now with this portion here, I do have Hiro actually using the cutoff wheel to cut off the extra metal, and once he cuts it all off, we can actually fit the new piece in. Now once the new piece is fit in, I am using self-tapping screws to actually hold the old steel to the new steel. So when I weld, I can actually weld on it, because right now I don't have the ability to actually clamp from behind. Some people I know like to try to hold the metal in its space with a hand or with an extra hand, and I just don't like doing that just because, you know, somebody might get burned and all that fun stuff. So, you know, just like I said, take your time. And then again, using your 2-inch grinder wheel or angle grinder, or even a full-on grinder, just take your time on stripping some of the paint there so you have a nice little lip to actually weld to. And once you have that little weld area, you are able to actually start doing your welding. Right now it is getting a little later in the day, so we're not going to be able to finish the full weld, but we will start the welds and start tacking them in place. Again, you do have to be very careful that your welds are very short. You don't want them to be too long, just because you need to take these screws out. So once you take these screws out, you want to make sure that it's not leaving like little waves in the metal. So that's why, if you notice, my welds are very short, and I'm just trying to hold it in place. And then once I start pulling it out, I can go with longer beads, but again, you still need to make sure that the steel is staying cool, because the moment it's not cool, you'll have to torch that section up, and you'll have to start to hammer and hit it to move it back.
All right, so day 2, we're gonna call it quits. Just been a lot of work, all that fun stuff. Hiro's tired.
I'm tired.
He's always tired. He's all like, I have to take photos of myself working and post them on Facebook, so it looks like I'm the one working.
Yeah.
If you notice, every picture is always with him in it.
Who's the camera guy?
Damn.
Who's the one sitting around taking pictures while I'm working?
Damn. He's all like, take a picture of me really fast. I know, but anyway.
Man, he's just kidding.
We're gonna be going on probably a day 3 of this at some point. We'll try to hopefully just knock this section out, and then hang the fender and put the hood back on. But it's actually coming a long way. Yep. We were figuring it's gonna take 2 or 3 days. Had that in mind. Body work is usually some of the hardest, stuff to do, because you have to be kind of perfect. And
not only that, whatever you see on the outside, you don't know what's on the inside,
and
then you don't know what to expect.
So it's what it is. We're making it, and it's looking better every time.
Yeah, it is. It's looking a lot better.
Yeah, things I didn't know about the El Camino is it doesn't run off of leaf springs, so yeah.
And it has air shocks.
Yeah, this one has air shocks. Yep. So we're pretty excited. We'll see how that goes. We jacked it up a little bit. Feels pretty good. Nice and solid. Probably bouncier than a mofo, but yeah. Anyway, guys.
All right.
Part 2, we're out. We did a lot of work. Got the front hung on. We'll finish this hopefully part 3, and actually probably with part 3 maybe we'll throw on body filler in there just so you guys can see us apply body filler and then reshoot etching primer over it and all that fun stuff.
Cool.
Deuces. Have fun.
Laters.
Laters.